This Shabbat we talk about the journeys of our forefather Jacob, leaving the serenity and sanctity of his father's home in Beersheba and venturing into a distant, very dark place, the place of Haran, a place of deception and criminality. Ironically, it is precisely there that Yaakov marries and builds all the tribes of Israel, because Yaakov, Jacob, is the master of transforming darkness into radiance and opportunities of light. And then we are told of how he journeys back to the promised land with his wives and his children. And his father-in-law Lavan races after him. And there's the moment where he accuses him and raises a finger and says, "How dare you deceive me? You've stolen my heart. You have led my daughters away into captivity." We know nothing could be further from the truth. The daughters had so desired to accompany Yaakov on the journey to the promised land. Lavan accusing of deception. He is the Lavan who had his future son-in-law work 7 years for his daughter Rachel, only to present him the wrong daughter. And Yaakov then has to work another 7 years for the daughter whom he loved. And then in the 6 years after that, every time they stipulate what the wages for the work would be, Lavan constantly changes. He deceives and deceives again and again. He is the master deceiver. He's the one to point fingers and to say that, "Jacob, you have stolen my heart." The darkness of the world of Haran is accentuated by the fact that we no longer know what is darkness and what is light. When people who are so associated with criminality are the ones to point fingers about needing to be honest. We live in a world today where the greatest dictatorships and dictators point their fingers at Israel and demand that Israel be more committed to human rights. Countries in which human rights are almost not existent, where there are no democracies and there's nobody voting and people's rights are being trampled on all the time. When we see that Jews have been removed from those countries and made to feel that they cannot exist there, Judenrein, countries of such an ilk, talk about apartheid in Israel. We live in a world in which there are leaders of commissions and committees that are preserving the rights of women in the world, who are the greatest perpetrators of undermining women's rights and trampling on women's rights. That somehow becomes the symbol of being able to call for honesty. When we live in our South Africa today, where our government has associated itself with the thugs of the world, where civilian life has been meaningless in Syria, in Ukraine, and closer to home in South Africa, where so many people are dying on the streets through crime, where they completely overlooked and didn't respond to the crimes against humanity that took place on the 7th of October, where women were raped and children were raped and were beheaded and taken into captivity. We live in a world of darkness, where the people with blood on their hands are the ones who talk about preserving life. We all have our hearts so filled with the desire and the need that the exchange of prisoners takes place as soon as possible, that our brothers and sisters are set free. But even as we look at the asymmetrical definition of prisoners, on the one hand, Israel freeing people who were caught and captured for actually being involved with terrorist activity. 3 of those are being exchanged for a child who was stolen from their bedroom, an innocent child who was taken out of Israel into Gaza. That is how asymmetric the exchange is. On the one hand, those who are deciding to try and destroy life, and those innocents who are trying to preserve and to be part of life. May Hashem give us the ability to master the darkness of this world. May we go into the world of Haran, this difficult world, and emerge from it with growth and with development, as our forefather Jacob was able to do. And may we all hold on to our heads to recognize what is darkness and what is light, and to be able to see through the ruse and through the designs of evil in this world, to pontificate to precisely the people who are wanting to preserve life and to see them as the criminals. May Hashem give us the ability to see the light. Have a beautiful Shabbos.